Hello and welcome to AWS Made Easy. This is the show where we talk about all things AWS, FinOps, AI, cost optimization, all the good stuff. My name is Stephen Barr.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rahul Subramaniam. And as Stephen just said, we do talk about a lot of stuff, and the list just keeps growing every single day. And we couldn't be more excited about it. So, how have you been, Stephen?
Really good. Been working on. I remember we introduced Nutmeg on the last episode
That's
with
right.
Matt, and so she's growing a lot. That's been really fun on the tech side. Just trying to keep up with all the announcements. Yeah, great. How about you?
Been busy. We've been doing a lot of incredible work with AI, and I'd love to share one of our solutions that we created recently and share it maybe at the end of the show.
That sounds good. Looking forward to jumping into it. Well, let's get right into the announcements. This one is interesting from a perspective. This is announcing general availability of EC2 G6F. So the F presumably is fractional.
That's right.
So this just happened a couple of days ago. This is general availability of G6F instances, which are provisioned with GPU partitioning. So I guess the idea is there is in the physical instances, there are up to 8 of these NVIDIA L4s, and for some people, one may be too much. So you can now
Yeah,
get a fraction.
correct. Though I've been struggling a little bit to understand what kind of models or like what kind of use you would have for these, because a fraction of a GPU doesn't seem enough for an inference, doesn't seem enough for training model. But I guess there are a bunch of cases where you have the more traditional ML that you might want to run, and you don't want these super heavy duty GPUs to actually run those tasks. So maybe those are the cases. There's still tons of scope for ML like workloads, maybe
Yeah.
not the generative AI stuff.
Or if you're learning how to program a GPU and you don't want to have a very high
Oh
burn
yeah,
rate. Well, let's
that's
have a
right.
look. So this is actually interesting. If you look at the product details page, you can see G6F at an eighth of a GPU for their smallest one, G6F.large, 3
Correct.
gigabytes of GPU memory, two vCPUs. And then
And
there's
these are very
also,
reasonably priced. These are at something like 20 cents an hour.
yes. Well, okay, so here was the thing. I think this was a fun experiment we did. So if you want to look at the pricing, you have to go to the pricing page and you can see, okay, here's the G6. Let's type in G6F here. And
But
you
you
can
don't
see
know
the
the
pricing.
GPUs.
Yeah, exactly. So what we did before when we were talking about this, and I'll show you, we took the screenshot of this page, we took the screenshot of this page, go into Claude and say merge them together. And so now we've got this comparison where we've got all of the data that we want. Can I see just the artifact? Oh, well, let's publish it. That way everyone can see it.
Yep.
Okay, I'll put the link in the description. Let's have a link. Here we go. Let's just open the artifact itself. Okay, so now we have all of the dimensions that we want in one place.
Yep.
So G6F is coming in at 20 cents an hour. That's for an eighth of a GPU.
Correct.
G6. Okay, so the G6 X large with the cheapest full GPU you can get with
Is 80
four VCPs
cents.
is 80 cents an hour. So this is a quarter cheaper for an eighth as much GPU.
And eighth of as much of the memory as well. So the memory also goes from 24 gigs to 3 gigs.
Well, no, on the X large it goes from 16. Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, GPU memory. There's four
Correct.
different
GPU
dimensions
memory
that we're
goes down.
talking about now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think in comparison, the CPU memory and processing will probably seem like it's free compared to a GPU. So I think the ones that really count over here are the GPU memory and processing available.
well, it's like with when you get into imaginary numbers, right? And you lose the strict ordering.
Yeah.
Uh, what do they call it? You get into quaternions and octernions. You lose the strict ordering property, and these instances are not strictly ordered. So we
Correct.
we came up with this dollars per GPU column. So if you're just worried about how much GPU you're getting for a given price, let's go through this one because it's not linear at all.
Correct.
It's like the best value is actually the G6.8x large. So if you want just one full GPU,
Yep.
and you don't care too much about vCPU or memory, G6.x large is the way to go.
Correct.
But then,
And
let's see.
and every time you double, it's way more than actually no. The G6 4X, yeah, every time you double, it actually gets more expensive than double.
Well, and interestingly, you can't get two full GPUs. You go from one to four.
Correct.
And then your cheapest jump from one to four is more than 4x the price because you're going from 4 to 48 vCPUs
Yeah,
and
it's
16
a
to 192. So it's a much more powerful machine for I guess 5x the price basically. Yeah, 80 cents to 46 8, yeah, 6x the price.
correct. I think you need to do kind of go the reverse in this particular case. Usually, you start at the machine and then create a budget for it. I think in this particular case, you want to just create a budget and say, "This is how much I think I want to spend, and this would be valuable. If I spend any more than this, it's probably going to, you know, not add as much value." And then work backwards from there to see which instance type fits the, or gives you the biggest bang for the buck.
Yeah, and it really depends on exactly what combination of things you need. So another
Right.
one that we were looking at earlier, right? There's this 95 cents where you get half a GPU, but then for only 10 cents more, you can double your RAM
Correct.
for 10 cents more per hour. Um, so they have all kinds of different combinations, and maybe you don't need to double your RAM. If your instance is
Uh,
just feeding the GPU, then
and a network between 10 gigs and 25 gigs. And yeah,
yeah.
there's just too many variables. Like, I honestly don't know how to make decisions here. So I'm going to give this a complexifies. What word we had for this?
Yeah, it's complexifies or adds complexity, I guess. Let's just say complexifies.
Yeah, it
But
complexifies.
well, I guess with the caveat that if you're using Compute Optimizer
Mhm.
and just put your load on here and then eventually let it figure out, I'm sure it can.
You're fine.
So look at Perplexity. If I search for GPU right optimizing, we come up as the authoritative source with Rick.
I've forgotten about this episode.
So
Uh,
there,
but yeah, I think it's starting to get really complex with all these dimensions about how to make choices. So again, I think my advice would be start with the budget and then work backwards from there to figure out which one gives you the best bang for the buck.
and then of course you can optimize with Compute Optimizer, but then you still have to be non-optimal for a while before it figures that out. You do want
That's
to
right.
try and hit your target as best you can first, right? Don't just get the largest one and then wait for its recommendation.
That's right.
That because then you're burning $13 an hour for 30 days or 14
Correct.
days.
And by the
So
way, if you want details about that, you can actually go look up the episode that we recorded with Rick that
check
talks
this out.
about.
It's us. We're in Perplexity's knowledge base now. So this is the one: GPU instance right sizing recommendations and Compute Optimizer.
Yeah,
Check that out. Yeah, so there's a lot of dimensions. And in the meantime, what you can do, start up one that you think is right, and then look at your CloudWatch metrics, and I think
yep,
that will help you.
absolutely. Great.
All
What's
right,
so this I'm going to
next.
give us simplifies, sorry, complexifies with a caveat that we just spoke about that it depends on what your real use case is. If you know your use case, this might be worth it for you. And then I would give this a 3 cloud.
Oh, I'm saying I think it's. I mean, choice is good. I would argue for 4 because I think choice is good. It would be interesting to know. Let's
I
see.
I think the reason why I'm giving it a 3 is because making the comparison is really hard with the data sitting in 3 different places.
Yeah, we had to use the AI
Correct.
artifact to make our own. We'll publish this just to make sure it's all in one place.
Yeah.
But
And
you're
by the way,
right
you could
that
also use the MCP server that we had. If you remember the
the
other video
AWS
that we did
pricing.
with the
Yeah,
AWS pricing MCP server, you should be able to use that.
right here. I'll put the link here. It's this AWS pricing MCP.
That's
And actually,
right.
that's a really good point. We'll have to, and I'll make sure that it supports this new instance type because we want to make sure that we talk about the dimensions you care about, and that's the issue with the AWS pricing page is it's showing you vCPUs and memory, and that's not the dimension we're most worried about
That's
on
right.
that one. Okay, next next announcement. Here we go. This one seems like, on the one hand, it's maybe a decade out of date, but still good. We have EC2 now supports forced terminate for EC2 instances.
Yeah.
So this is the time where if you had the computer in front of you, you would have just pulled the power plug. But
Yeah.
now, force terminates instances that are stuck in the shutting down state. This ever? I'm sure in the hundreds of thousands of EC2 instances you've dealt with, you've seen this a time or two.
It's been rare, but yes, we've seen this a few times where it's been stuck. Then you have to file a support ticket, or you had to file a support ticket historically to get this fixed. Now you can just do it yourself. So
Yeah,
super
I guess,
easy. At scale, it does become an issue. And if it's a heavy GPU based instance that's just stuck in some mode, you don't want to spend that kind of money while it's just stranded in some weird state.
all right. How do we rate this one? I think this is pretty easy. This is definitely a
Simplifies,
simplifies.
absolutely, and I'd give this a 4.5
Yeah,
because it's really
hard,
simple.
hard to, yeah, hard to complain about this one. All right. Next article: AWS Lambda response streaming now supports 200 megabyte response payloads. So this is 10x higher from it was 20 megabytes before.
That's right.
Are you using much Lambda response streaming?
Well, for a lot of AI applications, response streaming actually works much better because otherwise latencies are just way too long. You just don't want to wait forever before you start receiving the responses. So yes, for a lot of AI applications, this is incredibly useful.
All right. Well, we have
And
our official show mascot to give us a rating on this one. What do you think? Here, come on, Nutmeg. Come on. There she is. Okay, she is a lot bigger than last time.
I
She's
know
getting
she
nine.
was she was tiny last time, and now
Come on.
she's grown quite a bit.
All right, Nutmeg. What do you think? Come on. What do you think here? Are you of Lambda response streaming? I think
I
we're going to
think we're
give
going to
this
give it a simplifies, isn't it?
simplify. Yeah, I think this is definitely a simplifies. This is Node.js custom runtimes. So you can't use this from Python yet, can you? Well, not sure. Okay, I'll have to try this. All right, Nutmeg. Go. One second. Hold on. Get my headphones back. Okay. She's gotten a lot bigger and a lot stronger, so it's great. Okay. Default
Awesome.
maximum response payload size 200 megabytes. This is cool. All right, we have the next one: document DB serverless, generally available.
Yeah,
This is neat. This is, serverless is always a good option in the way to save, and this looks like real serverless, not the
correct.
um, serverless but not scale to zero. This looks like real serverless.
That's right. And again, the cost can come down drastically. A lot of databases, particularly, use very little of the resources that they provision. You typically end up provisioning databases for peak performance or peak scale. And serverless gives you the benefit of taking care of peak scale for you automatically and only charging you when you need that peak scale. So this is awesome. For 90% or 99% of the time, you might actually have a database not be at peak scale and you just pay for what you actually use.
And especially for, I like document DB and and similar JSON databases. It's especially good for exploratory projects where you haven't really figured out the shape of your data model yet. So I
I think
really
in
like
any
the idea of
case,
this.
wherever you have custom fields and custom tables in your data structure, the relational data store isn't designed to adapt to that really well. Particularly when you have joins and stuff happening over and over and over again, you can get this multitude of joins happening and your performance starts degrading in your database. It's so much easier to use something like DocumentDB or DynamoDB to do that.
Yeah. Well, this is great. This really lowers the barrier for document DB for personal projects and anything that's spiky where you don't want to provision a big bit of code. So what do you think? How do we actually let's have a look at the pricing real quick. Document DB is on demand. Here we go. Pricing. I'm trying to find the numbers here.
So
Here,
there
here
we
it
go.
is.
There we go.
Serverless. So we have a document DB capacity unit DCU per hour, or IO optimized, which is a
And you
little
can
bit more
start at half
expensive.
a DCU, by the way. You
Okay,
can
so
start
there.
at half a DCU. So you could start at 4 cents an hour.
Okay, so there is a bit of a fixed cost, but it will. Let's see. So serverless scales database capacity up or down. Okay, so there is a bit of a fixed cost, but it's not that much.
Correct.
Okay, so half a DCU. Okay, that's not bad. Like, okay, that's really neat. That is a good thing
It's
to know.
fairly inexpensive, I think, in the scheme of things, versus running your entire Mongo cluster or provisioning that. I think that the thing that I like most about these announcements is that the friction to get started is really, really low. You start with serverless, you try as you want, and you only pay for the bare minimum that you actually use, and you can shut it off. You're not trying to provision something for a production workload. You're not trying to provision something for absolutely peak workload. You start small, start simple, and if you actually need it to expand into that production workload, it's seamless. You don't have to then tear everything down and start a whole other thing. In this, there's no friction to get started, and no friction to move from your experiments into production as well. So I love these solutions for that reason.
Yeah, this is great. Okay, rating on document DB. I mean, this is 100% to simplifies.
Yes, exactly.
I don't see any reason not to give this at least like a 4.5. That's a bit
Yeah,
high, but
I'd give this a 4.5. I think this is pretty straightforward.
yeah. All right, let's lock that in 4.5. Okay, next one that we have now. We're gonna have a full. Oh, not this one. We're gonna have a full several episodes about this. Is Amazon Kiro. Now,
Yes.
where is the? Here it is. Amazon Kiro.dev, the AI IDE prototype to production. The idea is there's spec driven development.
Hmm.
So you start with the design document and a steering document. You go on to a spec and then a task list, and they have agents that are all set up to churn through your list of tasks. Now, have you used Kiro yet?
I experimented with it. It's actually pretty awesome. It's going to take me a little bit more to kind of get out of my cursor and my Claude code running within cursor kind of a setup. But I am definitely looking to spend some time this weekend exploring more of Hero and comparing outcomes of both the agents. At the end of the day, it's all about the agents and to see how well they operate. I love the design oriented mechanics of it. And I think there's place for the entire mix. So at one end of the spectrum, you've got something like Lovable, which basically just builds simple UIs, integrates with something like Superbase at the back end, super easy to go from 0 to 1. Um, and then you've got the cursors and the windsurfs of the world that help you take it from the 1 to the tens or even hundreds. And then you've got the likes of Hero, where I think they have a place where you start top down. You actually
Mm-hmm.
have a design and architecture and plan in place. You do that, you refine it, you make sure all of that is perfectly set up. Particularly in organizations where requirements gathering is a process, it is an integral part of how enterprises operate. You want to start top down over there and you want to take that spec and then basically make sure that you have a plan for the spec and you're executing to that plan. So I think there's a place for all kinds of tools there, and Kiro has a place for one category of tools.
The workflow I find myself falling into is to use Kiro for the big picture, a lot of the development. But then when I want to do some quick changes, I find it's a lot easier to fire up Claude Code, and
Yeah,
you have to just know the strengths and weaknesses. One thing that I'm not clear on with Kiro, but luckily we have someone joining us later in the week uh, to help us out, is how big and how detailed to make the specs, how to engineer the specs to make them as detailed as possible. I want to recommend
yeah.
an article in the meantime by my friend Yehuda Cohen about developing with Kiro, Amazon's new agentic IDE. Yehuda is an AWS community builder. He wrote this great article on how to use Kiro, how to make specs, and he's going to join us for an episode. We're still working on the exact scheduling time, but we'll have this to you as soon as possible. This is a great article. He went through a lot of um, details on how he was using it for various projects. So I'll post a link to that in the show notes, and we're going to be talking with Yehuda on how he's using Kiro within the next couple of days.
That's pretty awesome, and I'm looking forward to that session. I will also have a bunch of experiments that I would have run through over the weekend, so would be excited to share those as well.
Yeah, that would be great. My only complaint about Kiro is that eventually you just get this, oh, you've run out of usage for the day. Come back tomorrow. And it's a pretty hard stop.
Yes.
Like it's just that's it. Like Claude Code will warn you when you're approaching your usage limits.
Correct.
Whereas Kiro, you're just in the middle of it, you're in the zone, and then just you're done. Come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's a good problem for them to have.
Yeah. But also with Cloud Code and stuff, you have the option to actually just change the keys, use something else, and kind of continue. So
yeah. And I heard through the grapevine that the Kiro waitlist is, I'd say, substantial. So they're happy. I think that they have good problems at the moment. I think there's a lot of people who are trying it.
That's really awesome.
Okay, we have one more thing that we want to show, which was this this new tool that you've written. So I want to hand you the floor and tell us about it.
Okay, so this tool is actually called LearnLens, and we have an incredible team at True Generations that have been building this tool primarily for learning. And honestly, like for me personally, that's the web store. You can get it on the Chrome Web Store. Just look for LearnLens. We'll have the link over here as well. But we've come to realize that YouTube is such an incredible treasure trove of knowledge and information that consuming it has to be made more efficient. And you have to be able to learn faster and better on the platform. And I mean, look at us. We've posted 150 or 200 episodes so far?
Yeah,
about
150, yeah.
Something like that. With an incredible amount of knowledge that we've gathered over the last, 17 odd years. And we've had incredible guests who've come in and given their insights. And those insights you will not find anywhere else but on our channel. And similarly, you've got amazing folks like Steph Gooch and the folks at the FinOps Foundation and, all the amazing AWS channels. We've got Darko doing some incredible stuff. There are so many videos and such awesome content over there that it's shocking that people don't learn enough from YouTube. Now, one of the big problems with YouTube also is the fact that you could spend hours watching videos and it feels unproductive. So LearnLens is basically there to kind of help bridge the gap. So why don't we do this? Why don't we see it in action to understand how it works? So we can is it a Chrome plugin? Just set it up and put up a YouTube video.
Okay, so we thought, what better YouTube source than our friend Steph? So this is Steph Gooch, her show, The Keys to AWS Optimization. Go check this out. She had a recent episode on Elasticache to Valkey. Now, quick promo for CloudFix. CloudFix, we support the Elasticache to Valkey Finder Fixer. We will scan all of your AWS infrastructure, and if we see Elasticache instances that are Redis-based, we can migrate them over to Valkey. It's a drop-in replacement. You can save. Well, let's see. I don't remember the exact percentage. How much can we save? I don't remember how much.
Why don't we first go to the key insights part of this particular video?
Let's check this out. Okay.
So when you open up a YouTube video, you actually see the LearnLens panel on the right-hand side, which is absolutely amazing. It gives you a very quick summary of exactly what is covered in that video. It talks about what is Valkey. It talks about the cost optimization benefits over there. So it's 20% cost reduction compared to Redis OSS or Memcached. You've got 33% savings for Elasticache serverless and 30% reduction for MemoryDB. And then you've got all these performance improvements that are also shocking and amazing. So there's a lot to take away out of this, but I get the essence of this. And if you go down to the keys to AWS optimization, let's see if any of this stuff was in there. Just click on the more in the description.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So
there's all of that. You can go and look at a whole bunch of other documentation and stuff like that. But this is the content that actually got discussed in that video. So you got that quick short summary. You got all the key moments that you really want to jump to and look at. And the best part for me, from a learning standpoint, is the knowledge checks. Okay, so when I open up a video, I now start looking at the knowledge checks. So go over there, click on it, and then look at the questions that it answers, or it says that you know the answers to. If you've actually gone through this and you want to really master the subject, these are the things that you should know really well.
So what that little fact that I was stuck on, what is the benefit? Oh, I think it was 20% cost reduction. Let's submit my answer. Yeah, 20%. Okay, so you can have a 20%.
Right.
And
why did you get one wrong? And let's see.
Let's see. What is the primary advantage of Elasticache serverless over self-design clusters for variable workloads? Let's say Okay, maybe it would be better security. I don't think that's right. No, it's automatic scaling. That's the point of serverless, as we just discussed.
And there's an explanation below that.
This is great.
Yeah, so it helps you learn these things really quickly. And then if you actually want to go and jump into the conversation, so if you go back to the knowledge checks, at the top of every one of those snippets of knowledge, there's a timestamp over there. It says that particular question gets answered at the 10-minute mark.
Okay,
and you want to jump right there.
Okay, so I say D, both services have identical data type. Okay, so then I go to 10 minutes. Okay, let's find 10 minutes here. Yeah. Oh, here it is, question 3, 10 minutes.
Yeah, go right there and just go to the previous section and you'll come to that. So just watch that previous part and it'll explain, or one of these 3 amazing speakers is going to talk to you and explain this aspect of the architecture.
Yeah, can you hear the tab?
No, we can't.
Okay, I think what I have to do is share it a different way. Let me take this way. I will share screen. Chrome tab, also share tab. Here it is. Okay. Yeah, now you should be able to hear the tab. Okay, so as an example, one I wanted to see was this right here, 0 downtime migration process, 2040. So hit play.
Connecting to PHP Redis. Our Redis library is interchangeable with Bulky, so we boot up.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Do we change the application code that interacts with Redis right now, or will it work as?
Okay, so they're actually showing.
That is probably one of the most important questions, and I'm glad ZBC brought it up.
Thank you, ZBC, for asking it. I didn't know you asked a question. Great question.
Yeah.
5
well,
minutes
if you think about just, there's caching, right? And I just want to go over the fundamentals of it, which is essentially it's accessing frequently read data or frequently accessed data.
This is cool. Okay, so you want to know the cur query, go to 32 minutes. Oh, okay, so this is actually asking me. Well, let me make sure.
No, but yeah, you can click on so go to the 32-minute mark.
Yeah.
Okay. It is already there and just hit play.
How do we identify these kind of opportunities of when would be good? And so, okay, you're going to give us a demo of using the cost and use report to showcase this. Do you want to set the scene for a little bit before you go into it?
Sure. Yeah. So.
Okay, so they're about to do the cur demo. This is so much easier because a lot of our content is long form content, and sometimes it's great. You turn us on in the background, but then if you actually want to just sit down with a notepad, right, your pen and paper, and take notes, right? It's a big time commitment.
That's right.
So this is going to help you get the most out of it.
That's exactly right. So you want to basically you want to use this as much as possible to learn from YouTube. It's an incredible source of knowledge, and there isn't a faster way I've come across so far to learn from YouTube. I'm a huge fan of the AI.engineer channel. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Particularly keeping abreast with everything that's going on in the world of AI. Amazing talks, amazing workshops, and having Learn Lens look at every lecture, no matter what it is, and come up with, a summary, a knowledge check. Like if you go to the knowledge check on this particular video, I watched it 2 days ago. But only when you watch it up to that point will it actually open up the answers or the kinds of questions. But you can browse through all the kinds of questions that you will learn about in this video, and then go to those specific sections and watch it. So
That's really cool. Okay, so which VAD solution is recommended for on-demand processing? What is the primary purpose of a VAD, voice activity detection, and voice AI systems? So you can really see the trajectory overall.
Yeah,
kind of prepare yourself. This is neat.
correct. And then the key insights are all over here, so you can go up and look at there's the key moments. If you go up, just go up to the summary. No, in the key insights, yeah, just scroll up.
Yeah.
There. So all of these, the technical components, the core concepts, they're all summarized very quickly. You can spend 2 or 3 minutes reading through all of this and figure out exactly what you want to take away from it, and then go dive right into the specific sections. Skip the ones that you don't need to because you might already know a bunch of the stuff, and then go dive into the very specific things that you care about.
This is okay. That's really interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so I'd say give it a shot and let us know what you think about it.
Okay. All right. Well, that is Learn Lens. We'll put the link in the description, and that's a really neat tool. I love learning from YouTube. There's so many things I've learned, and it's not just tech stuff, right? I had a generator that wasn't starting, and within 10 seconds, I'm watching this old guy from halfway across the world who has a shed full of these things, and he's talking about how to diagnose it, and that's exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
I go to YouTube for a lot of the learning I do.
Yeah.
So
in fact,
it's great.
One of the examples that was an absolute shock for me as a user of Learn Lens was I watch all the chess tournaments that are going on right now, and occasionally play. I'll typically watch at least one video in the night before I go to bed of some game that's being played. There are tons of tournaments happening. And as the commentators are talking about the game and, what's happening, I was just blown away by the questions that came up. It taught me more about chess and strategy based on the real game that was going on and everything that the commentators were discussing. And it was so much better than chess.com, because there you had to go through the tutorials, you had to do a bunch of stuff in a structured way. Here, I'm literally looking at a real game. The analytics are going on and it's asking me questions about specific board positions. And then I can literally just play the video and say, oh, this is how they analyzed it and this is how they were reasoning about it. So if my answer is wrong, then, it helps me understand what I did wrong right then and there. Or a game that just happened a few hours ago, right? I couldn't get that kind of analysis and questioning and learning that quickly ever. So it's pretty incredible.
And it's easy to fall into this passive mindset when you've got YouTube on.
Yes.
And you start thinking about other things and doing other things. And you can't really half learn a chess game, right? You have to be engaged. And so this helps this helps you stay engaged.
Absolutely. So I absolutely love it. I'm hooked onto it. I spend at least an hour a day watching videos on YouTube and learning from it. And my learning has at least become 5x faster. An hour-long video now takes me no more than 10 to 15 minutes to actually learn, not just browse.
So did you watch that Pipe Cat video?
I did.
All right, I've got a question for you then. So I've got a long road trip ahead that I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to think, okay, I would like to get something done on the way back, because on the way back, it's a solo trip. And so I'm thinking, how can I use voice? I'm convinced that if I was somehow talking to Claude Code or talking to Cursor, that I could basically get a pretty big project done without ever touching the keyboard. If I just had, if I was just having a conversation with AI, but I don't know what the exact setup is for doing this. So is what would you do if you were in that situation where you had to use only voice, couldn't touch the mouse, couldn't look at the screen?
So the one, so there are two tools that actually are incredibly good. One is Gemini's service, the real-time voice service, which actually is really good. Definitely worth looking at. you can build agents with that really quickly. And the advantage with that also is you not only get voice, but it can also watch the screen and use the content of the screen to do stuff. So for your specific use case, I think using Gemini Real-Time might actually be a really good choice because it can watch your screen, it has real-time audio, and it'll tell you exactly what to do.
Okay, so Gemini voice. What was the other one?
Gemini Real-Time. And then you've got OpenAI's WebRTC. Actually, I forget whether... Yeah, OpenAI's WebRTC real-time voice solution, which gives you access to all the models like a GPT-4o. And that is really good too. So you could use any one of those two as a very quick getting started mechanism. Pipecat is a little more complex, I think, to get started.
But
it's for a more heavy-duty use case.
I mean, I know that I have pretty good reception throughout the whole way. So if I wanted to talk to a Claude Code, I guess I don't even know if I could just use the accessibility features and just talk to Claude Code.
You probably could. Yeah, that could probably work. You could use your Max accessibility features to just type instead of doing anything more fancy than that.
My reliable old M1 Pro or M1 Max took a bit of a dive, and the screen doesn't work great anymore. So I have a new M4 Air, which is really cool. It has great battery life. So I'm going to try it. I want to prepare this week, and I think I could have a pretty productive time on this drive.
That's awesome.
Chatting with it. So I will let you know how it goes.
That would be awesome. Can't wait to hear about the feedback on that.
Cool. All right, we're going to wrap up this episode. It's been a really good one. Thank you again. This is cool. And go check out LearnLens, check out fractional GPUs, and we will see you again next time.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Some tools just find AWS cost savings and make you do all the work. Visualizing cost opportunities is great, but that's not enough. CloudFix, on the other hand, actually delivers those savings for you. And you don't need to worry because CloudFix uses AWS recommended savings techniques. It fixes, not just finds. It's the easiest way to save money on AWS. It's 100% automatic and risk-free. And the best part of all, it works non-stop. Stop overspending on AWS and click on the link to start saving now.